Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're so excited you're here. We are just going to have another great evening of just sharing details about our Cellergize morning product. And I'm Nikki McCutchen. I will be one of your co-hosts this evening, along with Vicki Malad. I need to turn on the spotlight here in a minute. I should have done that to start, but I'll get it done here in a minute. First, we're going to start out with our disclaimer. All of Lifeway products are not intended to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any dis-ease. If you are pregnant or nursing or have medical conditions, always make sure that you consult with your preferred healthcare practitioner first, just like you would with any type of diet or exercise program. So with that, we are going to dive into our amazing evening formula, Cellergize. So we did a video not too long ago about our morning formula. And so now we are just going to kind of take a deep dive into Cellergize Evening and all of the amazing things that it can do for you. So I just wanted to start out with just kind of talking about getting that evening routine going, and getting ready for bed. And really, it's so important to prioritize your sleep. It's really one of those things that it's almost like the first thing that we let slide in our health routine. And really, it's your sleep that actually sets you up for everything else that you do in your life, because that is how you recover. It's how you recover and how your body detoxifies every single system in your body. And so in going to sleep early enough, so being in bed by 10, being asleep by 11, because if you pull up like a chart of sleeping and how your organs and system detoxify, that all starts at 11. So if you stay up later than that, that pushes everything back and causes this downstream of chaos effect to happen in what your body's trying to then deal with every single day, because it didn't get through the process of being able to detoxify and clean things out in every single part of your body, which is the whole purpose of why God gave it to us, and why it should be a blessing for us. But it seems like we kind of push it to the side, and it's when we're too busy, it's the first thing that goes in our routine. So just wanted to bring that up, as well as like just thinking about like not eating a heavy meal, like 2 hours. The recommendation is like stop eating 2 hours before bed, and I really try to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed. Having a cooler room is helpful. Keeping your feet warm. I use an eye mask every single night. So the purpose of that is because you're blocking out all other lights. So you're trying to block out all light so that your body can really completely shut down and be in that darkness. So the Cellergize morning was really created, and that's the whole point, is to put people into a state of relaxation and help with sleep. And so it has a honey lavender flavor, and I am going to I'm going to spotlight Vicki here. This is another interesting point that I thought was just fascinating. So technically, this could be marketed for as blood pressure management. So it's very interesting that the way that all of the nutrients in Cellergize actually support our heart health. And again, just that whole point of sleeping and allowing our body the importance of sleep and how our heart actually needs that, and the blood vessels and the lining of our blood vessels. It's also very interesting that Cellergize morning has many nutrients that are very focused on heart health as well. And so obviously we know cardiovascular disease is the number one killer. And here we have this amazing inventor, scientist, and founder who has developed two products that coordinate. They're there for specific reasons and helping us do things, but they are constantly there supporting our heart. And so I just love David Schmidt's brain is amazing. He's just brilliant. And so we are so blessed to just have him as the captain of our ship, and just leading us in where we are going. So Vicki, why don't you come on and I will let you get started. So one of the ingredients in Cellergize morning is nattokinase. So if you want to talk about all the benefits of that.
Let me get to my notes.
Awesome. Perfect. Yes.
So, all right, where did I put them? There it is. Okay, so yes, nattokinase is so important and it's so powerful for your body. So when I look at an ingredient, I like to see what it is. And then I like to see what the benefits are. And then I go through and I see what side effects are. Like I just want to, do my own research and everything. So nattokinase is a potent enzyme derived from fermented soy. So it is definitely, it's fermented. So we know it's got good properties to it, right? There are so many benefits to this nattokinase. So obviously, it first of all helps with cardiovascular health, like Nikki was saying. It helps with clotting dissolution, so it helps open up those blood vessels to where the blood circulates even more. The morning formula and the evening formula work well together, so it keeps the body balanced during the day. In the evening, it helps it relax to shut down and reset everything. Let's see. It breaks down fibrin, which is a protein involved in clotting. So that's important. And some people don't really know that, but if it helps kind of defeat the purpose of the clotting, so that way it can flow better, the blood. Okay. And it helps maintain clear blood vessels, like I was saying, lowers blood pressure. It helps with blood flow and circulation, sinus and respiratory health. And this time of year, it is the sinuses. I don't know about anybody else, but the sinuses are a little crazy this year. And, we got the sneezes happening and then the congestion happening. So if this is going to help with that, definitely 100%, you're going to need that support, right? It also helps with cholesterol reduction, gut health. It boosts metabolism and reduces body fat. Yeah, and that's just some of the many benefits of it. Okay, where did I put them? Yes. And yes, I actually wanted to share a nice little blurb that Dr. Berg, I don't know if everybody is familiar with Dr. Berg, but he's so knowledgeable on natural remedies and how you can help your body naturally. But this is what he said about nattokinase. He said this product has very potent blood clot dissolving properties. It dissolves fiber, which is a protein, and decreases clots and plaque in arteries. It can improve circulation, decrease the risk for heart disease, decrease blood pressure, and is good for dissolving mucus. So that's amazing in itself. And that is just one of the ingredients.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So when you think about just smoother blood flow throughout the body, then we're talking about what that means is that it means better oxygen delivery to all of the cells in your body, to every one of your organs. That also means better nutrient delivery. So that is super important as well. So it helps to dissolve the spike protein. I think we mentioned that. Helping those blood vessels just be more flexible, helps with everything in your brain as well. So better circulation in your brain. So when Vicky's talking about better circulation, that means better ability to think clearer, have more mental clarity, circulation then across the body. So for people that have cold hands and feet, this can, often help with that. Or some people have like a feeling of heaviness in their legs. So increasing that circulation helps that go away as well. And even like anyone who sits for a really long time, this actually helps improve the circulation if you do a lot of sitting in your life as well. So that's super powerful as well. And then just so think about if you have better blood flow, then you're also going to have reduction in inflammation. So more along the lines of potentially low grade inflammation, but helping that, move out because things are moving. So it's harder for it to get stagnated. And so that circulation creates that movement across the body as well. And supporting when there's better circulation, it's going to support the body's ability to clear waste products more effectively also, which in turn also reduces inflammation. So anything else to add about nattokinase?
No, but I did want to say that just good quality sleep is so vital, for the repair process to happen in the body overnight. And I was deprived of sleep for many years. So I don't know how my body survived, but only God knows. But like you said, it's the first thing that goes downhill in your health when you got things going on or something comes up, you have issues to deal with. So it is really vitally important to get good quality sleep. And I never prioritized my sleep because my kids were little and stuff. I just really didn't think it was important. But I know now that I'm a little bit older that sleep is so critical for the next day. For my body to operate tomorrow, if you want me to be in a good, position, functioning properly, let me get some good sleep.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I will even go so far as to say that I actually do everything to like I protect my sleep.
Yes.
So because I still, have some, in the middle of the night, wake up and, things like that. But like if you were to look at my measurable devices, Hume, Oura Ring, any of those things, yes, it's going to say that my sleep is like excellent. And if you were just talking to me and I told you what actually goes on with my sleep, you would be like, "Oh, girl, you need some help. Like we got to figure this out." Well, there are ways to protect your sleep so that what is actually, so you're doing the best you can with whatever little thing that you're trying to figure out in your sleep as well. So all of those little tips I gave you at the beginning, it's why I do all of them because I'm trying to make sure that I'm still getting excellent. So, really increasing that REM sleep and the deep sleep, like going for an hour, to 2 hours in those zones is really what you're trying to do to really optimize your sleep. So, very, very important. So, let's chat about magnesium in the Cellergize Evening.
All right. Okay, here I am. Looking through my notes.
Yeah,
So
I should have given you a list. Yeah, which order?
it's okay. But magnesium, that the strange thing is that I know that the evening formula has magnesium in it, but for some reason I needed a little more magnesium in the evening to
Mhm.
actually like for my body to decompress and reset so I could actually fall asleep in that relaxation state. So personally, but if this usually works for other people, but for me personally, I just needed that little more magnesium and I have noticed such a huge difference.
Yeah,
It's
and you may have to add that. Like I was adding to the Cellergize Evening, I was adding an extra scoop of a magnesium powder in a
mm,
different form.
yes,
So so that's what Vicky's talking about. Yeah.
yes. That's exactly what I do.
Yep. Some of us
But
need it. So yeah.
yes, hey, you need it. I'm telling you, it makes such a big difference. But even just the small minimal changes, try it because it might just be what your body needs.
Right. Hmm.
But the magnesium that we have in the evening formula is a highly bioavailable form of magnesium bound to amino acids, and that's usually often glycine. And we've heard about glycine because we have our X39, right? And the other patches. So, of course, we've heard about that. But for superior absorption and stability, for digestive gentleness, compared to other forms, it's definitely the most beneficial for your body. Okay. Are the rest of my notes. So magnesium is so important because, like I said, I had a little bit of a hard time getting to that relaxation rest state. And when I tweaked it and added a little more magnesium for me because I didn't know what I needed, but I tried it and it has made such a huge difference. Whereas I was waking up a couple of times in the evening and I couldn't figure out why, but I can guarantee you now I go a straight 6 hours without waking up or going to the bathroom. So, and when I wake up, I'm like, thank you all, because
Yes, that's exactly right.
a good night's sleep, it makes all the world a difference. But, in order for our muscles to function, our sleep to be regulated, relaxation to happen, metabolism to work better, blood pressure regulation, and mood regulation, I mean, the magnesium is good for all of these things. And because it's bound to an amino acid, the body absorbs it more efficiently. So that's why that form of magnesium is in the Cellergeist Evening. And another tip, if you know somebody that craves dark chocolate, that's usually a sign that they are magnesium deficient.
Mm, good little tip.
Mhm. Yes, and that looks like all that I have for the magnesium, if you want to
Okay.
add.
Yeah. So yes, Judy, I'm going to go over that. So great question. So magnesium is absolutely critical. About 60% of the population is deficient, which is another reason why David Schmidt put it in something that we need. It's also considered an electrolyte. It's why, is it in our Cellergize too? I can't remember. I don't think it's in the Cellar. I'm trying to, I have it right here. Yes, it is. I was like, okay, I think I went over that. It is in the Cellergize as well. So, and that is why, because it's an electrolyte. There are over 300 biochemical pathways that are affected by magnesium. So across your body, we need magnesium. When people are under a lot of stress, it takes a toll on the magnesium. Our bodies will use it. We just start using it because we're under stress more. So it's why you need to kind of do what Vicky's talking about and thinking about, is it something I should potentially add to my Cellergize Evening? Because I potentially might need more. So especially if you're struggling with sleep, you could always do that on the flip side. If it's, if you feel like it's more helpful from the electrolyte standpoint, during the day and your ability to stay hydrated well, then you may add it to the Cellergize morning if you feel like that can be more effective. But look at those different forms of magnesium as well, so that you're not getting the one that causes you to be more calm. So that's what you would be looking at. If you add it to Cellergize morning, you're like, man, today, why am I, it's because you don't need the magnesium in the morning, y'all. You need it at night instead. So this form of magnesium is biglycinate chelate. Okay. So the biglycinate is exactly what Vicky was talking about with the glycine. Again, like she said, back to X39, here we go, and all the things that glycine helps in the body. The chelated form is it's wrapped in a form that your body can actually recognize and absorb efficiently. So when you get into some of those different, types or forms of magnesium, then that is, you're looking at absorbability as well, which is why David Schmidt has put these in powders, because they're more absorbable for the body, as well as when you use them with the X2O and they are infused with light, then that change in the bond angle allows each cell to absorb those nutrients as you're drinking it with it. So I haven't tried it yet, David, but I actually was drinking some X2O late tonight. So we'll see how I do with my sleep. I know David Allen he uses it at night, in the morning, and then, multiple times of the day. So I've just kind of started out with the bang, and we're just having it all day long. So I'm just going for it. So we will see what happens, but that's why it's biglycinate chelate. So let's see, I'm trying to think of things that you didn't say, Vicki. Leading to better absorption. It helps to relax the nervous system. And how that's doing that is regulating it through GABA, which is your primary calming neurotransmitter in your brain. So helping all of those things to calm, shifting your body out of fight or flight and into that rest and digest for the sleep. And that's why magnesium is one of the best tools to naturally de-stress, bring anxiety down. That's why, because that's what it's doing. That's one of those biochemical pathways that are happening to allow you to relax better. So supporting that deep restorative sleep, helping you fall asleep faster, calming that brain activity. So not just the quality, but also the duration, and reducing, like Vicki was saying for herself, even reducing that nighttime restlessness and waking. And also muscle cramps. So that may be something that you notice, like if you've had muscle cramps before and you haven't used the Cellergize Evening, and then it may just be that those have gone away and you've been using Cellergize Evening and it hasn't even clued in that you haven't had any cramps at night. So, and you may also be one of those people that needs to add magnesium as well to keep some of those cramps away. So for a while before we had the evening formula, I was using a magnesium spray just on my skin, and I would spray my whole body a couple times a day, and then especially like my lower legs and my feet at night before I would go to bed. So that magnesium helps with all of that restlessness, the muscle tension, the tightness, the cramps that happen sometimes in people's legs. So, and it just helps you even out from that really wired state at night and just causes a very nice calm to come over you because it's regulating the cortisol, bringing that down in the evening. And the cortisol being elevated is why a lot of people can't fall asleep. So if you're struggling to fall asleep, it's that stress portion of what you have going on and that cortisol being elevated. And so, doing some of these things, like I mentioned in the beginning, and all of the other things that we're mentioning, you may want to pull in to try to help you regulate that cortisol. So supporting blood sugar balance as well and energy production, which is why, again, based on the form and why it's in our Cellergize morning, helping with that energy. So supporting your immune health. And also, like if any of you are constipated, this is something that I have got family members that will do magnesium every single night, just to help with them be able to get up and eliminate, and go poop every single morning. So if that's something you need to add in there as well, that's a consideration with that. So, all right. Anything else to add about magnesium, Vicki?
No.
Okay. So what about taurine and how it helps to relax our nervous system?
So taurine is also an essential amino acid, and it's naturally produced in the body, and it's usually found in meat, fish, eggs, dairy, and it definitely supports your heart, your brain, and your immune health. So those kinds of things, you definitely want to make sure that you are getting that in your diet because our food source, let's be real, our food source is not what we think it is. I mean, you have to do some kind of supplementation because of the quality of our food and how it's gone down. But it definitely, I mean, all of these ingredients work well together because taurine also promotes muscle recovery. It helps regulate blood pressure and promotes energy, and it's good for cardiovascular health.
Hmm.
And that is all I have on taurine.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. So in supporting the nervous system, it supports the GABA activity in your brain again. So from another standpoint, another pathway, bringing that calm to happen, reducing feelings of overstimulation and tension and anxiety, and giving you that steady effect rather than a drowsy effect. Supporting regular heart rhythms, improving blood pressure and circulation. And this is huge, y'all. So this is definitely like take this to your practitioner or start working with a functional medicine practitioner so you can get two sides of the coin. It's actually more effective than medication for blood pressure reduction.
Wow.
So that is something that you need to look into if blood pressure is a concern for you. And again, having that additional source. So, along with your MD, also having a source from a functional medicine side so that you can make the decisions in your health for yourself, and make sure that you're getting all the information, not just part of the information. So taurine is one of those things that bodybuilders have used for years. So helping with the exercise performance, recovery of muscles, supporting muscle contraction, endurance, reducing muscle damage and soreness even, which again, like in the evening formula, allowing our bodies, we go to sleep and that's when all that repair happens. And so we wake up with less soreness and less damage and better recovery for our muscles overall. And then of course, taurine again helps with hydration and electrolyte balance. So the brain and cognitive support, supporting the neurons and overall brain function, helping with mental fatigue and focus. Again, just a calm, stable state. And it also has anti-aging effects. So this also helps to regulate blood sugar. So it may improve insulin sensitivity. So again, just thinking about bringing that body back in balance, going into sleep, and then all of these things regulating as well as detoxifying out of your body. So helping to stabilize energy levels rather than spike them. It's the spiking of them that the cortisol is going up and people are having a hard time sleeping. So taurine makes a huge difference in that as well. So anything else to add for taurine?
I did want to add that taurine is obviously the bodybuilders and gym rats. They all knew that taurine was beneficial. Now, the taurine is what is in energy drinks mostly, but this is nowhere near how much is in those energy drinks. So this is not something to alarm you. It's only a minimal dosage because of the benefits
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And still, it's still enough benefits to give you the regulation in your heart health. That you're looking for to be able to, and that is something to consider. Like we were talking about adding magnesium, like again, working with a functional medicine doctor, asking if you need to actually increase your taurine, to help with the blood pressure as well, would be a great question to ask. So, and then I just wanted to answer real quick. So Leslie's asking a suggestion to help with topical magnesium stinging the skin. I would say then it's probably not the best choice for you. The topical magnesium. You could use like coconut oil and try that. You could use olive oil, high quality olive oil, and try that, and then see if it will help it not sting. Just giving you a carrier to go with it. So that might be some suggestions, but that may not be the best form for your skin. And then Maria is asking, how many ounces of water do we use with our Cellergize Evening? So mine's probably usually in about 12 ounces. I don't really keep track. It's probably, my glass is probably a little bit smaller than this normally. And it's, like still has that much, left. So 12 to 8 ounces. Um, I actually don't love the honey lavender flavor. And so I usually am putting like my magnesium, like some of my other powders were other flavored. And so I try to, mask up. I've never been a huge lavender. I love honey, but lavender, I am not a fan of lavender having to, drink that. And so I try to get mine down very quickly, and I definitely have to have it with ice. So that's my little
Check,
modifications to
check,
be
check.
like, get this baby down. Yes, as fast as
Yeah.
I possibly can.
And I do the same thing because my magnesium powder that I use has a specific flavor to it. So what I've been doing is just brewing an X2O water and then popping it in the fridge. That way, an hour later, I can use my Cellergize Evening and pop in my magnesium. And it has to be cold. That warm flavor is just,
Yes.
ooh, it's not
I
very
hold.
tasty.
Hold, please. Yes,
Yeah,
100%. It has to be
yeah.
cold. I'm with you for
And
sure.
drink it
Cold.
fast.
Yes, yes, for sure. Yes. My daughter loves lavender. So you may be one of those people. I mean, she gets the lavender coffees and all the things. And I'm like, "Ooh, no, thank you." Like, no. So I remember one time I burnt my tongue, and like lavender actually, so lavender oil is fantastic on burns. So anytime I burn my fingers with my curling iron or whatever, like literally in one day, you can get that pain to go away, and it happens instantly. And when the pain starts to rise again, you put lavender oil on it again, and it is fantastic. And literally, and so I had burnt my tongue. And so I just took a drink of coffee, and I never drink coffee. I don't even remember where I was. I was at some basketball tournament somewhere, and I had the lavender oil, and I mean I was just pouring lavender oil in my mouth because I had burnt it so bad. So anyway, I could just have PTSD also from doing that with lavender, but I mean, to each his own, right? Like whatever, we
When
just get
it's
it
a
down.
bad experience, nobody wants to revisit that bad
No,
experience. So
no, no, no. Yes, yeah. Yes. So let's move on to L-theanine. What do you have about L-theanine?
L-theanine is also, this is a unique amino acid, and this is usually found in green and black tea. It helps promote relaxation without the drowsiness by increasing alpha brain waves and modulating neurotransmitters like the GABA. And the last three supplements, we obviously were talking about all of that brain activity. So, and that's all I have on the
Yeah.
L-theanine.
Yeah, so it reduces blood pressure as well. And it just helps kind of take that edge off of that stress and anxiety. So you can see how, like, each one of these nutrients has like this tiny little extra tweak that we would use, like, in words to explain, like, our stress level. And so they each just have this tiny little different effect of supportiveness to a way that we may be describing how we feel, when something happens to us. So just helping that overall better sleep quality. It helps quiet that racing mind. It can improve the restful sleep feelings, not like knocking you out, but just improving that ability, like from the brain aspect that Vicky was talking about with the GABA, just that restfulness that kind of comes over you. And you're like, okay, I'm feeling like I could go to bed now. So even, and that the GABA and the dopamine and the serotonin, all of those support that mood support. So this is also something to consider with someone who's struggling with dealing with emotions, and just having that. Again, so many times we separate. I wasn't even planning on going here, but so many times we separate mental health as this own piece over here that doesn't have a physiologic response and control mechanism in the body. We have in our culture in America, we've separated them. It's not separate. There is a physical response, no different than I have a broken leg. A mental response to something is also something you just can't see, but it is still there on a physiological, biologic level that's happening in the brain with the GABA, with the dopamine, with the serotonin. All of those things, those neurotransmitters are not being regulated. And so finding a doctor that can help you learn how to support the mood, the neurotransmitters in your brain versus just, therapy, talk therapy and, even, mental institutions. I mean, obviously sometimes all those things are necessary and important and helpful, but you need to always be working with someone who's looking at the biologic mechanisms of what's going on and not throwing a medication at it that's trying to mask. And you may have to do that for a while. And I totally get that, but you have got to have somebody who's going to actually figure out what neurotransmitters are not working properly and be able to give you what you need to bring that body back in balance, just like we would do with hydration, with electrolytes, anything, vitamin C, like all these vitamins, amino acids, different things that need to be in balance, omegas, for our body to work properly. That is all true for brain health as well, for mental health. It is not separate. It does have a physiologic, biologic aspect to it as well that needs to be addressed. And our country does not really acknowledge that. They separate it and they put you over here with counselors and therapies and medication. And there is so much help and availability out there to actually support what's going on. It's actually going on in your body. It's not a choice for a lot of people. It's not a choice that you're making. It is actually like having a broken leg. You need a cast, you need crutches, you need these things. And that is true for mental health as well. There are things that your body needs to allow it to heal and regenerate so that you can make better choices on your own, that you just feel better, that you don't have these feelings that are so hard to struggle with. So anyway, wasn't planning on going there, but I just think it's so very important for people to understand. So again, that it's that calming irritability feeling, that feeling overstimulated. And so that's, we respond from those places, right? Being irritable or being overstimulated. We have this response that happens. Well, it's because in our physiology and our biology, there's something in there that needs to be balanced out that people really need to take a minute to look at. So the last thing is just the fibersol, and that acts as a prebiotic. Again, we already talked about this, the gut health. So fibersol is a prebiotic that's then supporting the probiotics in the body. So helping support that gut flora and the digestion. So the same is in Cellergize. And again, this is the brilliance of David Schmidt. Most people are walking around with gut issues. We have bloating, we have constipation, we have pain, we have cramps, like whatever it is, a symptomology of some type of gut issue because of, like Vicky talking about, our food, the way that our food is. So we all have gut issues. So those are, it's fabulous that it's not just fiber that can cause people to get backed up and, have issues, or some people have diarrhea. No, this is actually supportive in the form of those prebiotics that help support the gut flora and the gut microbiome in your gut, your stomach, your intestines, all of that, your colon, all of those things. So again, the brilliance of David Schmidt. So what else would you like to add, Vicki?
I like to give the analogy of like an engine misfire, because the car can't operate optimally if there's a misfire in it. That means there's the chain during the chain of command of everything happening, the motor working and everything, something is wrong with it. If you start to you're putting along, and I don't want to putt along in life. I kind of want it to be high performance. Like, look at this and think about either you want to be a little buggy or you can be a high performance car. It
Yes.
depends on what you're going to put into it. And that's just the way that I think about it, because there's always a reason for an ingredient. There's something that can help your body naturally so you can work on the misfiring.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Diane is asking what brand of flavored magnesium powder do you all use? So I like all of my vitamins. I like them to come from whole food form. So I was using PRL, so no, Research Labs. It's not coming to me what the P is for. But it's a whole food supplement. So Azure Well has some great whole food supplements, as well as standard process. But I've mostly just taken the PRL powdered magnesium. So, oh, thank you, Leslie. If somebody would give it to me, Premier
Yeah.
Research Labs. Yes, Premier Research Labs. What about you, Vicki?
Mine is just it's from Market America. I'm sure we're all familiar with that, but my husband uses it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. But I definitely feel, only because it's here and I'm going to use it, I'm not going to waste it. But I feel like there is a better source of magnesium, so I think I'm going to look into the one that you have for standard process.
Yeah, those are all good. Yeah. So yeah, Azure Well is another company that's doing a really great job at making whole food supplements as well. So I haven't looked to see if they have a
As
magnesium
your
or well.
well, it's
It's
called.
at Azure. Yeah, Azure Well. So yes, and
Yeah.
through I'm throwing all this out there with Azure Well, you can you with our businesses that we have, you can actually get a practitioner account, which is nice. So
Cool.
that's something to consider. Yeah, with Azure Well is also. So yeah, because standard process and Premier Research Labs, you have to have a practitioner, to go through to get those. But Azure Well actually, because of the way our business is designed, they allow us to have practitioner accounts. So it's very, very cool. Yeah. Yes.
I did have something I wanted to share, because um, 2 weeks ago, I did a scan on my son's girlfriend's sister. She's having gut issues, and I said, come on over, let's do a scan, let's see what's going on. Maybe I can help you. Well, right away, quick, Cellergize morning. So she right away has been using it faithfully for 2 weeks, has not had any pains in her stomach. Her bowels are regulated. I mean, it's huge for 2 weeks. I mean, you got to be kidding, since she started it. So that's a huge testimonial, and I'm thankful to be able to have this technology so we can share it with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, so we did pretty good. We almost stayed to our 30-minute time limit. So, yeah, we can stay on for a few more minutes, but we will, if you guys have other questions, but I'll just close it out here now. And so, thank you for joining me, Vicki, tonight to do this. Thank you all for getting on. And we pray blessing over each and every one of you. Good night, everyone.
Good night. God bless. Always a
God
pleasure.
bless. Yes.